friends, and welcome back to another Needlessly Nostalgic. I'm one of your hosts, Tyler Nichols, with my other host, Lance Velchek. Let's get into, because we're continuing our Evil Dead franchise chat with 2013's Evil Dead. This was written and directed by Fede Alvarez, co-written by Rodo Sayagas. Can't even say his name. I heard him on commentary. I think he said 3 sentences. So, and then obviously this is based on a script by Sam Raimi. This is starring Jane Levy, Shiloh Fernandez, Jessica Lucas, Lou Taylor Pucci, Elizabeth Blackmore, and and an uncredited Ash Bruce Campbell cameo at the very, very end. Very, very strange thing. Yeah, which
not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's a random moment, but so this film came out after most of the, like, it was at the tail end of the remake trend. Not even tail end. This is like, I would say almost like far after, because we had Texas Chainsaw in 2003, like Friday the 13th 2009, then Elm Street in 2010, Halloween 2007. Was then My Bloody Valentine 2009. So like this is technically after the onslaught of horror remakes.
It wasn't a part of the boom at all, and it's probably better for it. I want to start saying I was so against this. I can't stress how grumpy I was when I heard of them remaking this. I was adamant against everything about this. The idea was stupid. Fuck them remaking Evil Dead. Bruce Campbell's not in it. I was such a baby, dude. And this is one of the few times where a trailer completely puts me on my ass. I was very like, ooh, I might be wrong about this. And then of course I saw it and I was wrong, but it's funny. Because because you're right though, it was kind of far down the line, and I was still grumpy. Probably, and honestly, less grumpy than I would have been if this was announced in 2006. But for some reason, dude, I had it out against this. I was like, fuck this, dude. That Evil Dead remake was some Fede Alvarez. I couldn't say his name at the time. I know it's Fede now. I just was not having it, man. Replacing Bruce Campbell, it was kind of like a gender swap. I was like, this is stupid. And like the great John Locke once said, I was wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. I was very trepidatious about this, especially. I think the main thing for me was that this was Fede's first film, like his first feature length film. And I think that Evil Dead is a big ask for someone with their first ever feature film. And so it's like seeing that, like, oh no. But the thing that always kind of was sticking out in the back of my head was Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, and Robert Tapert are still involved as producers on this, which gave me a lot of faith in the direction, because that was actually before I was aware of their kind of, I wouldn't say disliked for horror, but just they're comedy guys. So it's like nowadays I hear their involvement and I'm like, ooh, I hope they're not too involved. I hope they're just guiding the series along, because fortunately, because of their experience on this film, that is what they just do. They just guide it along. They give the keys to the castle to them, see if they can get to the finish line. And Fede Alvarez absolutely nailed it, and obviously he's had a very successful career since. So
yeah, I'm okay with them guiding, or even just sort of letting somebody play around, because I feel, especially after this, we had the show, and to me, I was like, oh, that's perfect. It's almost like two different worlds. We get the Bruce Campbell goofy part that I really love. It's very important to me, but I also love the fact that then they let other people kind of get deep down and dirty into the horror aspect, which, you know, Sam Raimi can pull off, but he can't pull off this right here. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that's style.
This is why I think it works, is I think it lends itself to Raimi's directing. I mean, like, he does ape some stuff, but I think he also makes it his own. Fede Alvarez is essentially I think growing from what Sam Raimi kind of started in Evil Dead 1 specifically, and obviously some of the Dutch angles and the zooms and shit that from the other ones. But the tone of this movie is so relentless and so mean and so just visceral that it's nothing like any. I mean, I would say like take Evil Dead 1 and put it on steroids and you might get kind of close to what this is. But this is really its own thing. I mean, Raimi wouldn't be into this sort of cynicism. And maybe that's why I find myself in love with this remake, because it takes the elements from Evil Dead that I love and then just fucking puts you in hell.
It breaks all of the rules of Evil Dead. This is like dark, and there's not that student film quality to it. It is constantly going for this uneasiness and dread, which Evil Dead doesn't have. Like, that's not a thing. It's more of like this weird existential kind of, I don't know, like it's not. I think an element of that is that the trilogy literally recreates the prior film in its openings, and all the continuity is all over the place. So I think that adds to the kind of fever dream aesthetic to it all. Yet this is very straightforward. It's very in your face, brutal. It's very much has almost a French Extreme feel to it.
Yes. Well said, my friend. I put that in my notes as well. This feels more in line with, I would say, the Hills Have Eyes remake. Yes. In terms of that's just like fucking mean, high frame rate, sort of just aggressiveness. And again, I would like to say, like, there are moments of the original Evil Dead, and very specifically Evil Dead 1, because that's, I think, the elements that this is taken from, obviously minus the hand. But, you know, when what's-her-face is in the cellar banging on the door or the thing, and she's just screaming, and it gets kind of weird. Like, there's moments like that where I'm like, okay, that's what Fede Alvarez took, was like, okay, we need an entire movie of that feeling. Yeah. And I think it's great, dude. I don't want humor from other directors, because Raimi's humor is so specific to a goofy Three Stooges type of slapstick that it works because he's in love with it. I'm down, but I love that this, and though I have a lot of issues with Rise, I'm fully invested in them making these super serious, gory films. I don't actually want anything else. I want different styles, but like what Fede gave me here was a miracle.
Yeah.
I mean, he made me uneasy. But he also, I felt, I mean, and we talked in Army of Darkness about how the Deadites aren't really the same Deadites. They're Hollywoodized, which is fine. And I love that fucking movie.
Yeah, it works still.
But he made him creepy again here. And they're different. They're different, but they feel like a good spiritual connection to what I love. And I'm like, holy shit, how it doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel redone. It doesn't feel redundant, and it doesn't feel too far off. How hard is that to fucking nail in a remake, dude?
Yeah. No, I completely agree. It's pretty astonishing what they were able to accomplish with this, and especially too, because so as we go through the movie, I'll chime in with various things that I learned from the commentary track, because I watched this for the first time with commentary and was pretty blown away by some of the revelations, including, I think the biggest revelation that I had while watching was a lot of stuff that I thought was CGI in this film is not CGI, and it is photo manipulation trickery. They call out 2 shots that are CGI, and he even says, he's like, that's it, everything else is done in camera, literally everything else.
Is it the fire with the book, right? I'm assuming that's CGI.
No, that's done optical. It's like done
shit.
Even the girl in the beginning, all filmed optically. Like, it's all done. There's no CGI they like just have the fire filmed separately. They put it on her. They put it on her digitally. Like, they put we can do that kind of trick. But then the main moment is when when Natalie cuts off her arm, and that's the blood splurting out. It's CGI blood.
that's some pretty good looking CGI blood. And I feel like I'm predisposed to catch that because I usually always notice, I'm like, oh, it doesn't flow right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then there was one other thing they called out, and it was so brief where I didn't even take note of it. So it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, they're everything else. They're even, they mentioned some like thing that goes on in like the arm where it's like a reveal of veins, I think. But then literally all they did was they had that pre-painted on her, and then they just revealed it. They just revealed what they had already, the makeup effect that they had already done to it. So it's like every time you think it might be CGI, it's like, no, it's just like they're just doing editing tricks.
Well, I was going to say, and I didn't bring it up in my little love fest before, but I actually thought there's more CGI than that.
Same.
But I did always love a lot of practical stuff. I mean, the tongue thing was in the trailer. You could see the tube. I think they eventually fixed that. The puking of the blood and all the crap. Like there's stuff in here where I'm like, oh, it really, really lends itself to, I think, being timeless for being, 12 years ago is still a long time, if we're being honest. This movie's older than it really should be.
Yeah.
But it looks just as good today.
Very, very intentional in terms of the timelessness, because there was a shot when Jane Levy's Maya is driving away with Shiloh. There's with David. There's supposed to be a shot of their cell phone that says no service, but they took it out because they're like, you get the point, and we want to leave it timeless. Because even the cars, the Jeep, the obviously the old Oldsmobile that we see, but it's all cars that like the designs are the same from the 70s through modern day, so it works. But yeah, let's get into this film, because it starts off very different from any of these Evil Deads usually do, because we actually get a little bit of a backstory. I've always taken this as this is what happened with Professor Noby and his family. That's always kind of how I've taken it. Is that how you've what's your interpretation for this opening?
I got to be honest, I never even put Noby in this. I guess that would make sense, but I don't think they mentioned the name. I think the way I look at it is just essentially one of those, it's happened before, it'll happen again, and we're just witnessing the end of the one cycle. Because obviously in this movie they go, which I actually like. The Necronomicon has stages, and each stage is like a part of the movie, and it's how it has to happen. And this is obviously the end of this woman's stage. I actually think this is one of the best openings, and this is what sold me the movie. Mm-hmm. This opening was so mean, so fucking creepy, so beautiful looking, so violent, that when he blows her head off the shotgun after she's like, I fucking rape your soul or whatever she says. She says some real like mean to her dad, and he kills her, and then it just cuts straight to the fucking Turning's title card. I'm like, we're in good hands. I think this is one of my favorite openings. I love the old witch looking lady, the dead cats, which I think is hilarious, because I think of all the fucking people crying about a stuffed fake animal in this movie. But I mean, a lot of this is inappropriate.
Yeah.
And in the best way. Like it keeps that OG energy. Like I said, just it's so focused.
I wasn't going to bring this up, but since you brought up the cats, I have to mention fucking Jane Levy throughout the commentary would ask the stupidest questions. And one of which was, where do you think that hair's from on the cats? Like, how do you think they got that hair? Like, she asks shit like that the whole time. Like during that whole intro, because they're like mentions of like how good the possessed girl is, and she's like, where'd you cast them from? Like, and Fede's just like, it's New Zealand locals. Like, and then like it gets asked later, like, oh, where did they come from? It's New Zealand local.
I regretted not listening to that commentary, because I think you told me last minute you were listening to it, and I'm like, fuck, I never thought about it. For some reason it skipped my mind, and then hearing you talk about this now, I'm like, maybe it's for the best, because I would have been really annoyed if a scene like this, where I want to hear like interesting ideas or what his like lighting process was, or some behind the scenes. She just goes, where did the fur from the cats go? It's like, I don't know.
Well, if you want some interesting behind the scenes, I can tell you that when the girl is initially knocked out by the like hillbilly creep people, they are very intentional about the hillbilly creep. Like he's like essentially mounting her, and it's supposed to be an illusion for the rape later on.
Oh, I never.
Because they wanted to get. They wanted that they wanted to like Fede wanted to get that mindset into the like viewers immediately of like, oh, there could be sexual assault happening. That was another thing. We've kind of recently the R word, like rape, is kind of, and I think it's because YouTube can like demonetize and they'll be weird with that word.
They say grape a lot, I notice.
Yeah, and so it really stood out to me because, dude, they say rape in this commentary like 50 times. Or it's, oh, like, because every time we're like, oh, what's that? Whoa, whoa.
And censorship has really screwed us up, hasn't it?
Yeah, I have another thing once we get to the rape scene, but I don't want to. We got to move through this. I've always really liked this opening too, mostly because I think this girl's performance is just really, really well done. That shift. The switch that she makes it's terrifying.
And the witch looks good. I mean, all of them. The hillbillies look good. The dad, I think, plays it off really well. You feel bad, but it's a good, that switch is great when it's like, when she realizes, because she's begging to like stop. And then when he like pulls the match, she's like, okay, fuck it. I'm done pretending. And then the demon comes out, and it's our first look at Fede Alvarez's version of a Deadite.
Yeah.
Yellow eyes, or at least a yellow, is it iris? Or what's the
yellow iris? Yep.
Yeah. And I cool.
Yeah.
It looks great, dude. I mean, not saying it's changing the wheel here, but it's still Evil Dead enough where I immediately was like, oh, that's a Deadite.
Yeah. I'm curious. I've always thought that the one hillbilly, he ironically is the hillbilly that mounts her. I've always thought that he looks like Ted Raimi.
I never put that together. No.
Yeah, when I first watched the movie, I was like, "Oh, Ted." Then obviously figured out it's like, "Oh wait, no, it's not Ted." Especially when he has like his distorted look, and it's like zooming in. Like I don't know, it looks like it very much reminds me of Ted Raimi.
It's funny. I ever noticed when they cut to like all the hillbillies like kind of looking over is the one that looks like the guy from The Hills Have Eyes, like the OG, the guy from Weird Science. Like I always put my eyes towards that guy, so I never even noticed the Ted Raimi lookalike.
Michael Berryman, yes.
Michael Berryman, yes.
Fantastic. He's also in The Guyver and Devil's Rejects. Fantastic.
God, so I gotta watch Guyver again. I mean, Devil's Rejects I do remember, but The Guyver, it's been many years.
Yes, you definitely need to check that out. God, yeah, that is crazy. Because I'm watching that opening scene. That's crazy. There's no CGI there.
It's great opening scene. It's great. Yeah. That's how you open a movie. That is, it's funny because this movie is not dated in any way, but I did come to the realization while watching this that sort of intensity was kind of in that like late 2000s, early 2010s era. Yep. And I do believe it comes from the New French Extreme 100%. And it's something that you really don't see anymore. Like, I think we're in a trend of like more arty, more kind of wide, stiller shots, like the A24 is more that sort of dread horror that we're in. And I kind of miss this intensity.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I love a smash cut to credits. That's one of my favorite things in life is the smash cut to credits. And this smash cut to credits is just phenomenal. It's so well done. And then right after the credits, they have that great upside down shot of them like coming in. It's like driving through. We see the woods, which they found in the edit. That was there's a shot in the first Evil Dead where Bruce goes through the cabin and it starts upside down. And so this is Fede's homage to that. And it works really well. Like you wouldn't even think you would think from watching it that they planned from the beginning of it being upside down the whole time. But nope, that was found in the edit.
I like that because that immediately sets up this sort of uneasiness. I mean, obviously I was uneasy before when they're blowing the chick's face off, But even now we're in the safe daylight of the real okay world. The old fashioned things are still happy, and it just has that very weird feeling. And that's something Fede does really well in this. And maybe it's the New Zealand background, but just this forest is creepy to me.
Yeah.
In the daylight, in the dark, in the dusk, in the dawn, every shot, just it's creepy. And I've been to New Zealand twice, so I do know that like their forests are weird. I have pictures just driving on the road, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking scary.
I mean, Ash versus Evil Dead was filmed there as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So
you get some of that feeling too.
Yeah, that's why I think that, oddly enough, even though it's not the same characters, Evil Dead 2013 does connect with Ash versus Evil Dead the best visually. Like, just they feel like they could be in the same world, even though obviously this is much darker.
No, 100%. The world itself is the same. It's just Fede's eye is different.
Which we can be grateful for them filming down there, because that Ash versus Evil Dead gave Samara Weaving her big break, because she's a Australian actor.
Yes.
So it's like maybe we would have never gotten the glory known as Samara Weaving had we not gotten Ash versus Evil Dead.
I love how you love your blondes, buddy. I really do.
Oh, she's the best. It took everything in me to not mention Ash versus Evil Dead when I talked to her. I might have mentioned it, but I don't think I did.
I would have been like, hey, you're great. You're great.
I already said it. Like, you're great in everything. Like, I love you. Just kidding. I did not say that during the interview. That would have been embarrassing. But yeah, we get the intro to all our new cast, and you're gonna be surprised. The commentary made me like Eric.
Is Eric my blonde friend, or is Eric the?
Yep, Eric's your blonde friend that looks in the Mr. Lou Taylor Poochie.
Yeah, I never had an issue. Never an issue with
I had an issue with him before.
I know every fucking has an issue.
That's why I had to tell you in particular of like, I didn't mind him this time, and it was because of the commentary.
Well, I would like to say up front, I've read through books. I've tried to summon things. I've done weird stuff to bring in spirits, just because I'm, sometimes I like to have a good time, and sometimes a good time is a little different than other people's good times. Lance, that being said, what?
Before we move on from that, guess what? Everyone on commentary agrees with you. They would open the book and look and read through it.
As you should. Why not? It's a fucking cool looking book.
As soon as it happened, I was like, son of a bitch. How do they agree with Lance? Though, to be fair, Jane Levy shortly after was like, oh yeah, I probably wouldn't actually read from it.
But I want to bring up the fact that Mr. Eric, after he reads the book, basically fucking takes up the ass worse and worse the entire movie. It is almost, I've always noticed it, but this time for some reason it was like more crystal clear, where it's like he gets punished. Like, he does not get off easy. He gets it the worst the entire time. So there is this hilarious comeuppance, and I'm not saying it's funny, but it is funny in a very cynical way. Where I'm like,
I think it's darkly funny.
Yeah, like he just keeps getting fucked more and more because he did make the mistake of reading from it. Another thing, it might be out of context, but we talked about, maybe in one of our commentaries or one of the episodes earlier, about our favorite and least favorite Book of the Deads. Mm-hmm. And I've never hated this. I never loved it. But for some reason this time, all I could think of is it really reminds me of the book from Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Like, it has a very Hocus Pocus look.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, that's funny. I guess I wouldn't have even thought of that. I don't mind the book in this. I like the inside is awesome. Like,
the inside's great. I'm not loving the outside because the face is missing, and then the Hocus Pocus thing kind of threw me for a loop. But the inside is cool. I like, and I think I mentioned earlier that, instead of just random creepy looking pages, they all are kind of telling the saga of whoever becomes possessed. And I was like, that's an interesting, cool way to add lore and make the book a little more, like purposeful. Like, okay, they're looking, okay, well, now there's boiling water, and then there's going to be this and this. I'm like, okay, I like that idea.
Yeah, they're going more for a realistic
Yes.
haunting than the more supernatural. Obviously, there's a supernatural side to this, but it is still they're going for more of an occult thing with because the book in this is essentially I would call it just flesh sewn together. Is kind of the look they're doing, kind of like a Leatherface.
Yeah.
And it's very Hollywood, and I would almost say it's overproduced in terms of the stitching is like too good, given like what the actual
it's too cool looking.
Yeah, it's too crisp. Like we should have seen some bunch ups at one. As someone that knows how hard like sewing is, from like this is someone that really knows what they're fucking doing, and this is a tough material to work with. So holy hell. So, but I understand like something as simple as having a face in it would then not work in this world as well. So I get it.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah. I mean, whatever. I mean, it's a small complaint, but they definitely don't hold back on the Deadites, and I think that's the most important. That's the thing they get the best here, and I think it's a very clever story of her going through withdrawals so that people will doubt her longer. And I'm like, oh, I like that. Because again, she starts floating around fucking talking in double voices. Yeah, that's going to be suspicious at first. But if they're going to set up that she's a druggie, she's done shitty things before, the fact that she crashes the car right away just kind of makes her feel or makes us feel that she's a piece of shit. So they give the characters a lot of rope to have doubt with her. And I think that's a good way to kind of have things intensify and not us all be like, okay, guys, we're really not going to leave now. Cause it's like, hey, up until she actually talks in double voice, everything could be tied back to she's going through draws. She's a liar. She's going to manipulate. And I think that's a clever way to, make this real in a very, unrealistic way.
But it's also genius too, because of the fact that all cabin in the woods scenarios are people going out to escape. It's always an escape. It's always like a have fun kind of thing. This gives the excuse of no. They're all banding together and they have to be out. They have to be somewhere with no service, so Maya can't call someone else to then come pick her up, or a drug dealer or something like that. It has to be out on her own. And it immediately sets up too that like all these people are good people. They're not coming out for a good time. They're coming out for their friend. The purpose of this trip is to help their friend get better, help her kick this. And like even the one is a nurse, like she's ready. They're like, they have all the stuff. They're doing this so right. And it immediately sets up these people as just people you want to see survive. So then what's going to be coming. So it makes for even a tougher watch. And it's just, I mean, there's so many great dynamics here because obviously David has not been around properly. He hasn't really been there for Maya. And there's some like friction there, which then it just then makes it even crazier when like Maya gets possessed, because again, they just think she's going through withdrawals. She's not possessed. No, she's not smelling something rotting in the basement. What is that fucking stink?
Yeah. It's like I can't believe you guys can't smell it. And there's all these dead cats and she's right.
It's so good. And it's like, yeah, of course, that sets things up where then anything that she does, you can just excuse it away. And it doesn't feel like a movie thing. It doesn't feel like, oh, yeah, of course they're doing that. It's like, no, they're doing this because this has clearly been a problem for her. And it's because Jane Levy's performance is fucking phenomenal in this. Jane Levy is so good.
Fantastic. And there's a line I think the nurse says, which is like, she's going to say and do anything she can when the withdrawals kick in to try and leave. And even the nurse there, I really like, is then you could put her to sleep. There's things you can do that sort of elongates the situation. So when everybody realizes that they're up shit creek, it's too late. Because they really would have figured that out a lot sooner. And if they didn't, then we would be like, okay, a great movie, but I have to then really kind of let my suspension of disbelief fucking soar because these idiots aren't noticing these supernatural elements. But it's like, no, they're literally saying like, she's going to say and do everything, and we are going to wait. We're going to wait to the last minute because we need to keep her alive. And they say like, she died. She died. She's not dying again. So it's like everybody has a motivation where it's like hell or high water. This bitch is getting clean. And that is, I think, really what carries the story. And you're right. Levy, fantastic, man. I mean, you're going to tell me some bad news. I know that because we had a little conversation, but I absolutely love her in this. And I mean, it really is her movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess we can get into that now because we're kind of there. So when they obviously do a great recreation of the tree rape in this film, and unfortunately in the years since this film has come out, Jane Levy has kind of come out against it specifically because of the tree rape, and more specifically horror in general. She thinks the like it's something about the rape side of it. It's like rape fantasies for men and blah blah blah. And I've always, because of that, it really turned me off from her. Like she also fell out with Fede Alvarez. It was around the same time. So, and she was just, because she was doing that like musical show on ABC, and it's like, because she's a theater kid, and I think that she was just really trying to embrace a certain thing, and it made me really, really dislike her. And it made me go, why the fuck did you ever agree to do this movie? And then I found out during the commentary that the tree rape was not in the original script. She actually asks about it during the commentary. She was like, this wasn't in the script. Where'd this? And it was a recommendation from Mr. Rob Tappert. Rob Tappert thought that it would be a great inclusion into the film, and Fede agreed, and so they added it in, and so Jane was already like signed on, and so she just kind of had to roll with the punches.
I feel very complicated right now because I don't like when people talk shit about movies. I really don't, especially if you're in it, because it's like, it's one of those, everybody always seems to have an opinion after the check clears. And I know that's life. But it almost feels like we're going back again. It's like the tree rape is an issue in the OG one. This to me is honestly less aggressive. Am I just so desensitized? I find this one, outside of like the little the thing going in, it's really just, it's actually less rapey. It's not ripping off her clothes like in the original What's Her Face isn't getting more manhandled. So I actually thought this is classier, or at least a little more toned down. That being said, it's fucking Evil Dead, and it's actually a very important part of the original. So I really, if we're bitching about it again, then I think we're just repeating these out of I don't want to say out of time takes, but you know what I'm saying? Like if you're bitching about the same thing we're bitching about in the 81, then I just feel that it seems more performative. And that breaks my heart because I really, really like her in this. And I didn't know that I knew that she fell out with Fede Alvarez. I did not know that she like talked shit about the movie though. Cause I'm like, this kind of made you. And I know that a lot of fans loved her inclusion, me included, in that new, what the kind of game, the game where like you replace online. I forget what that style of game is called. They did it with Texas Chainsaw and Friday the 13th.
Asymmetrical horror, the Evil Dead game. Yeah.
She was in it. And like, that was a really awesome addition because it's like, oh, she deserves it. She's one of the best leads in this franchise. I need to interject.
What?
Bad news?
No, I think this actually might be a positive thing. I may have mixed some stuff up. She did say this stuff, but it sounds like it was in regards to Don't Breathe that she was upset about.
No, I don't really like that movie. So if that's the case, I'm pro Jane.
but that also it makes sense as to why she would have fallen out with Fede, because Fede directed Don't Breathe. I'll read you the quote. I'll read you the quote.
Read it.
I've actually been in a movie before, and I won't say which one, where the character gets raped, and on the rundown of scenes that are being shot for the day, it was like so and so kisses so and so instead of so-and-so is raped. I remember the director didn't see the scene as rape. So her big thing is she's really against horror, like the horror films using rape as a trope. And then I guess Fede took the approach as that's not rape in this. And she's like, no, this is sexual assault. Like, this is rape.
I'm assuming the turkey baster scene?
Yes, the turkey baster scene.
Yeah. I mean, again, if it's not in the script, I feel like this is one of those conversations where it's so dependent on so many different things. Evil Dead OG, the Sam Raimi one, has a tree rape scene. It is an iconic scene. It is an aggressive scene. It's a creepy scene, and it absolutely needs to be in the remake. If there's issues with that, then we have differences of opinion on what a fucking remake of a classic should be. In terms of Don't Breathe, I don't really like that movie. I think it's kind of lame. So fuck it, I'm on her side in that. I don't, there's no iconic scene from 1981 in the original Don't Breathe. I know it's not a remake, of course.
Well, and
but I don't want to come off as a hypocrite either, though, because I feel like it really depends on what is happening, what the movie's about, and what's come before.
Well, I think, too, you got to think in the original Evil Dead, it is just trauma. It's not something that it's not the thing that gets Cheryl. Cheryl's not then like, she's not possessed from the tree rape. This is actually like that just traumatizes her to then it happens later on.
Yeah, this puts the demon inside of her.
This is literally the demon going into her, which then we get those great. I love the visuals of Abomination Maya is what she's referred to as, where it's like
what's Abomination? Is that the thing she's singing? What are you talking about?
The thing she's seeing, yeah, and then we get the physical manifestation of that in the end. But,
Abomination, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's what she's credited as on the IMDb is Abomination Maya, and it's her stunt double. So it's cool that they were able to get her some.
But that scene is one of the best scenes to me. Like the look of the forest. She's in this weird. It's like a circular vine. And they do a couple of I know it's from Vertigo, but I always call it the jaw shot. They did the dolly zoom, and it's two of my favorite fucking ones because it's subtle and it's just enough to make you realize that things are bad. And we cut to the Abomination version, and she's in this circle. It's fucking gorgeous. It is a gorgeous shot, a gorgeous scene in terms of just cinematography and directing. I mean, it really is, I think, iconic. So I'm glad because I was getting real upset. I'm like, dude, this is one of my favorite scenes in the movies. And I really do not want the actress and they're telling me it's not needed because I'm like, it is. So I'm a little happy that she's talking shit about Don't Breathe and not Evil Dead. I feel a little more like, okay, that at least has a little more credibility, whereas this belongs 100%. I'm sorry, it does.
Yeah. And sorry for being a bad journalist and not looking ahead of time. I misremembered the element of it that I just remembered her talking shit about one of her films that had a rape in it.
And I should say this, and I think we both agree. If you want to swap it up for a guy and have it go up his ass, I don't care. Like that's fine. Like, it's the whole point is just like, violate and impregnate.
Wait. Say that again. Pause your thing again.
What? I mean, repeat what I just said?
Yeah.
I'm saying that I'm okay for you want to switch the set with a dude and have the fucking vine go up his ass.
No, I would never. That would be, men can't have that happen to them. Men are too strong. Only women should be assaulted in horror films.
I was being sarcastic here. I was like, I don't agree with this at all. No, sir. Yeah, dude, have it go up his ass, come on his dick. That'd be so.
Oh,
I mean, dude, anytime there's anything with the dick or an eye or a shin, I get just thinking it's just getting a swab for the doctor up there. That's one of those things where like fucking 4 people got to hold me down. So yeah, you want to do something like that. It would be just as effective to me.
I think you may have just described a scene from The Boys.
Oh, well, not a scene I'm watching. That's for sure.
But yeah, that whole sequence is incredible. And I think one thing that I was amazed at during the commentary was that they mentioned, they're like, we're on a set here. And it's like, because it was Jane Levy being like, oh yeah, we're on a set here. And Fede having to be like, no, not yet. But then the transition, dude, you can't even tell. And they even talk, it's like the production designer did such a good job. You cannot tell the difference between when they're on a set and when they are just in the forest, because they very seamlessly go between the two, that's tough. That's really fucking tough.
I never thought about it because I always assumed it was all a set just because it looks so cool and so unique. But then again, like I said earlier, I guess I have seen a lot of New Zealand in the Fog Outside that has a very similar take. So yeah, I couldn't tell you what's a set and what's not because it all matches so eloquently.
Yeah, and I mean, it shows how beautiful the forests of New Zealand are. I mean, pretty much the whole run up is not a set, and it's once she's actually like tangled up in the vines, that's when it gets to be a set.
Oh, okay. Look at you.
Which is crazy. Like that's impressive. Like that's just really, really cool.
Well, nothing can bite you or kill you out there. I remember very specifically being told there's no deadly bugs, so you could walk barefoot. So I guess that's why they film. Yeah, so they're not worrying about some weird spider. If this was Australia, everything would kill them. Jane Levy would have been dead 20 minutes in.
Shit, and if it was America, I'd be worried about like a broken beer bottle to step on. Like,
yeah, like an HIV needles. This is in 83.
Well, once Mia's actually possessed, I mean, I liked Jane Levy's performance before, but this once she goes into her possessed form, I love it so much. When she's in the corner, just fucking freaking out, like the hair is just like proper, like it's slightly wet, but her eyes just pierce, and it's hard, like, because it's clearly like she's somewhat underlit, and it works really, really well for both the story that they're trying to tell as well as the like differentiating her from Ash, because that's one of the main pitfalls that they could have easily done, is trying to make Ash 2.0.
In fact, I think it saves the movie. One, that it's not Ash, it's not called Ash, and that outside of her sticking her stump in the handle of the chainsaw, it's just a different character altogether. Mm-hmm. So there is no comparison, because if this was Ashley, and aka Ashley like a girl, or any sort of
oh,
tie-in,
fuck,
it would have just been like, well, it's not Campbell. It's not Campbell. And listen, I walked into this being like, this isn't Bruce Campbell. And then I walked out like, thank God they didn't even try. It's a completely different character, and it really frees up a lot of like negative headspace we would have had comparing, or if they have had a lot of like duplicate lines. I mean, what's his name? My old friend who reads a book, he has a couple lines, I think based off Evil Dead 2, where he's like, do we look fine, or does this seem fine? And he has like some repeating lines, but like, that's fine. Put him in that guy's mouth, because that's not the Ash character. That's awesome. Yeah. Good.
And he even is the one that says, like, it's like Dead by Day. Like, and they even they mentioned, and they're like, they wanted to say Dead by Dawn, but they're like, no one says dawn. No one ever says dawn. Like, so we can't. It would be too on the nose and too much of a callback if it was, we'll be Dead by Dawn. It's like,
yeah, really. Dawn is just used in Evil Dead 2 and Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. Like, I don't think I've ever used Dawn. I mean,
that's the reason that that moment in Evil Dead Rise stands out so much, because you're like, oh, that's clearly a reference.
Yeah. Well, that person, I forget the person's name, tried so much to harken back, where the remake, which you assume would be the fucking stock full of references and winks and stuff like that, is actually the more laid back and natural. We had to get Rise to be like, oh, remember this? It's like, oh yeah, I do.
Because Rise is a legacy sequel, while Evil Dead is a requel.
Would you consider this a requel?
Yeah, because it's technically supposed to be still in the same, like, all the other movies are canon, yet they're recreating the first film. Like, I think a requel work, because I wouldn't be comfortable calling this a remake because of the fact that it is it's in canon with the rest of the films. I feel like remakes aren't.
I guess you're right. The only issue I have is like, that's like some movie knowledge, that like if I wasn't reading movie news, I don't know if I would have put this in the same timeline, but I guess you're right.
But we are movie fans.
So I know it just was. I try to okay, like let's like logistically, yes. If I'm showing this, yes,
remake, yes, absolutely. Remake would be the broader,
but requel more of like is in the more movie term, yes,
of just like yes, Halloween is a slasher, but it's also a horror movie. Where it's like yeah.
Well, the Legacy sequel thing sucks because this is what this gave me so much hope. I mean, even watching it the other night, I was like, it's so intense. I'm so on edge. I'm having so much fun because I'm crazy and I'm just enjoying all the gore that it's like, this was the template they could have done. Find this vibe and put it in different situations.
Mm-hmm. Like a high-rise apartment.
Well, I don't want to talk too much because like I finally want to save the energy.
I know, but I'm trying not to. Set me up for it.
Let me say this though. You know how fun Evil Dead in a high rise could have been? I hate when you take cool concepts and fuck them up. Just give me a bad movie, but don't give me a cool concept because then I know I'm not going to get it again. And that movie puts it in a city in a high rise. Oh, but it's lame. Fuck off.
I can't wait. I can't wait until Evil Dead Burn is about a bunch of firefighters that go to put out the fire at an old cabin and then they discover the book.
I just, it's this worked. This worked. I don't want all my movies in a cabin. I really don't. I think this actually is a great cap off. Nah, dude. I put it somewhere else. Evil Dead 2013 was the last cabin I want to see. That we did it well. That's why the show was so fun. It was like a road trip. We're going all over different places.
They went to the cabin.
They did, but they didn't. It wasn't all the cabin. They were at a restaurant. They were in a house.
The cabin was the main set piece, though.
It was the ending set piece because it felt appropriate to go back where it all began. But we had so much stuff everywhere else. I'm like, okay, I'm down.
So if you want to have 3 episodes at the damn.
Okay, so there's 3 episodes. There's still fucking 7 without, man. I'm just saying, if you want to have a cabin every movie, that's fine. But we have to then either start or end the cabin, have everything in between somewhere else. It's like Jason going to Manhattan. I want Jason somewhere else, man. I want to explore the world. But this works. This works because it understands. It understands, I think, the world that Sam Raimi created, and it brought it in. And this sounds so lame, but it brought it into like the modern era with a modern audience. And I know saying that now is fucking essentially saying witchcraft, but like in 2013, it worked. What if Evil Dead was new French Extreme? And then boom, we have Fede Alvarez kicking ass.
Yeah. I mean, Fede does just an incredible job with this film, top to bottom. T to B, really great. Like just the looks, like the meanness of it, like the I would not have expected them to kill off the dog in such a brutal way.
Right.
Yeah, but it's handled in a way that doesn't make me feel like I don't want to see, like, don't want to watch it. Often when animal is killed in a film, it kind of gives me this, I might see it on my shelf, might be going to grab it, and then that thing enters my head and I'm like, maybe not today. That never happens with this film ever. And it's because they handle it in such a good way. It's the same reason like a dog dies in Halloween, but it's handled in the right way. There's ways to handle a death like this, and this is handled really well, where it's still traumatic, but it doesn't feel gross and exploitative.
Well, it makes sense because they're hinting that, and of course we know it's not true, but that in a fit of withdrawal rage, she stabs the dog. So,
do we know it's not true?
I mean, I'm assuming she's possessed by this point, so she possessively stabs the dog.
Oh, yeah. No. I thought you were just trying to say of like the withdrawals. I thought you were trying to say that the demon did it separately from her, which I was like, I never took it as that.
But but the reason I bring up that I find that more in line is because if they were at a party and the chick, your sister, stabs the fucking dog to death, we're all having a conversation, but he almost kind of puts it as like this is the sacrifice I have to make to keep my sister alive. So it still adds to the lore of we're all in this to the very end to keep my sister alive, as opposed to, okay, the dog just got stabbed to death and we're kind of just move on from it. Like that'd be a bigger plot point in 2013. We love animals a lot more than we did in the 80s, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I love animals today as much as I do any day, and I think I'm the person that sided with Mrs. Deagle in Gremlins.
You did.
So
come on, man. I got
thoughts on dogs.
I got squirrels. I love animals too. It makes me sad. But we cut to a part not too long after the dog, and I just want to bring it up because it's my favorite part, or one of them, is when the nurse, and I should know names, but we've been over this podcast so many times, I don't know the name.
Olivia
is stabbing my old blonde friend in the face with a needle, and he fucking kills her. He kills his girlfriend, and then pulls out that needle under his eye. And I looked over at my mother-in-law watching this, and she was just like, oh! I was like, yes. That is so effective. That is the kind of horror that we do not see often, because it's not super gory, but the fact that it's like right below his eye and he has to pull it out. Beautiful. Fucking beautiful.
Yeah, they just did an incredible job with that. And we can thank Mr. Sam Raimi for that scene being as extended as it is, because he saw, I think it was during dailies, because they said that they were still shooting, where he was like, you need to extend this, because originally it ended when Eric like initially hits her. Like,
so like she gets stabbed, and then we cut to like him fighting her off instead of like actually cleaning himself up.
Yeah, we don't have the cleanup and any of that stuff, like, because then she attacks again shortly after he hit.
And then he like actually puts her out of her misery.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, that was originally just going to be the one and done, but so as much as it's like Sam Raimi, and like I watched some little a little thing with Bruce Campbell. It was essentially, it was like a 14-minute, it was called Conversations with Bruce, and it was just him talking about the film production stuff. And so it was really interesting. And he mentioned how they know horror, so they would watch it and they would say, oh, this thing, like, you need this, you need that, but they don't. That's what they usually do. For this, they didn't have to for 90% of it, because Fede just had such an understanding. But this is a great moment for me to bring up something that I found during this week, and I think it's very relevant to our talks here, because did you know that Sam Raimi has 3 rules that he personally defines horror by?
I did not. Please enlighten me.
So number 1 is the innocent must suffer, which we get a very nice bit of that with Natalie here. Because that's actually how I found this out, because Fede Alvarez mentioned, he's like, yeah, there's people that are upset because of Natalie. What happened? Because that's David's girlfriend who...
Why are they upset? She's a part of the group.
Because she's the most innocent of them all. She's like a girlfriend of the brother. They've been dating for like 3 months. Like, she's just kind of like brought along to other people's shit. So it's too
welcome
bad
to
for her.
horror, man. Welcome to horror.
But exactly,
I agree with the rule. Yeah.
The innocent must suffer. Number 2, the guilty must be punished. Which
Eric.
I just have to say, yes. Number 2 is number 1 for me. That's why as soon as I read this rule, the first movie that popped up was Talk to Me. I'm like, that's why Talk to Me bugged me so fucking much. The guilty are not punished in that fucking film. And then 3, the hero must taste blood to be a man.
Okay. So it sounds like Evil Dead.
Yeah. Very, very much so. But I guess those are the rules that he thinks that all horror should abide by.
As somebody who's seen a lot of movies, and we talk about it, we watch behind the scenes stuff, it still always surprises me when, something like the needle in the eye, I expect to be in the script. I'm just like, of course, that makes sense. But for that to just be some guy like, hey, no, it'd be a good idea, that always blows my mind. That sort of level of almost like casual collaboration produces things that, become iconic, become so just needed and so tied to something. That'd be like, I wouldn't be surprised if you're like, and fucking, I don't know, and Army of Darkness, which again, we know this, but like, they're like, yeah, maybe Ash should, say, come get some. It's like, what? That wasn't always there. That was a fucking day of. So it's always interesting when you tell me stories like this, because it just shows you that even as planned out as Yumi could ever make a movie, there would be a moment on set when something would come up, and that would probably be the thing that people think about the movie for the rest of the time.
I think one of the most iconic things in this film is actually is something that was come up with on set. The reveal of the Book of the Dead. It was original in the script. It is just puts the book on the table, and they realized that it wasn't a grand enough reveal. So they added they added the trash bag, they added the barbed wire, which that reveal it says so much, like especially that moment that he clips the barbed wire is it's brilliant. Which then also you get that great thing of like, since the barbed wire like cuts him, so then there's like the blood gets on the book, and like
no, you're 100% right. Is that the barbed wire in the black trash bag? I think is really cool, because it is the universe telling you to not touch the fucking book. Because every Evil Dead movie is kind of just like, there's a tape player, and then there's a little dusty old book with a face on it, which is fine, and I've accepted that my whole life. But them wrapping it in barbed wire and blocking the book, that's smart. And actually is the best reveal of the franchise, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you were talking about the Book of the Dead for this film, I had to look it up because I just couldn't remember. And I'm like, I know I have positive opinions about this, and it's because of the reveal. The book itself, it's like, oh yeah, I don't really care about that. And the inside's fine, but it's like the cover I don't like. But that reveal is so good that, yeah, I'm fine. And again, in the context of the movie, I still like the book. It's more of just like when it's out on its own and like compared to the others, like
yeah, because the face, I mean, I prefer a face. I don't think I'd be too far out from this, but I also get the idea that wrapped in barbed wire in a trash bag, can't set on fire, and has a face. Like, there has to be a level where like, okay, Eric, how about you just stop? So I get it. They, we got to have this fucking high schooler or high school teacher read it. It's fine. But it being so guarded is a clever idea.
Yeah.
And you said before, that you prefer, and I think I agree with you actually, that the tape recorder being what brings out the demon, because then it's nobody's fault. You know, like you could hit play, but him reading, like he could have stopped halfway and got bored, or he could have messed up the words and would have happened. So it does, there's a little more of a suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. And and I think they do it in Rise, where it's like, once you hit play, it's like, yeah, you might logically be like, oh, I need to hit stop. Well, guess what? Oh, the stop, but I can't depress the stop button. You know what I mean? There's fun supernatural stuff like that then it establishes the power of what you're dealing with. Like, yeah, there's stuff with that I like, but again, this time around, the Eric didn't bug me quite as much, but and
he pays for his sins. So it's like, even if everybody in the theater hates him, like they spend the rest of the movie being like, this fucker's going to get it. He made the mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, is it the nail gun scene where like they just hammer home how bad he gets it, like through his arms and his chest? I think this time I for some reason was like, oh, it seemed almost super aggressive. Like I remember before being like, oh, what a crazy scene. This time I'm like, oh man, Eric is just getting the fucking tail end of it.
Well, and even there's the great moment where Natalie, she goes into the cellar, because again, she's innocent. She just wants to help. In the midst of all this, she still doesn't think it's supernatural. She's still, because just like Olivia said, she's going to do and say some crazy things. And yeah, at this point, you're still just thinking, I mean, at this point, I would be like, okay, there's a demon, but that's, I've watched a lot of horror movies.
I would think demon first, you know? Like you had a cold, I'd be like, I'll shoot you in the heart now. Don't you be talking weird to me.
Like hold a cross. Here's some holy water. Drink it. Okay. But no, there's that great moment where she like talks to Maya and realizes that Maya's Maya does the I think she turns around to her. I can't remember specific. I just remember the her being just out of the cellar, and then it's like that stop, and she gets pulled back in,
and it shuts real quick, and it's such a cool shot because it's all in one. Yeah,
so good, so good. I just anything with which then obviously we get like the razor blade scene
Great
right
scene.
after. Yeah,
bites her. Yeah, and it's really well lit because it's just that sliver of light coming from what I mean. Obviously, it's lights, but it's the real light or the movie light's coming from the slit in the door. So it's all shadow, and it's like really well, beautifully shot. So it's like you just have the sliver on Jane, you have the sliver on the blonde chick, and then it's her eyes are glowing. It's great.
Kiss me, you dirty cunt. There's we haven't even really touched on the Deadite lines in this are amazing. Like they're so good. At one point, it's like Mia says, she's like, "Why don't you come down here so I can suck your cock, pretty boy?" She says to her brother, and he's like, "Mia? Like, Mia's not here, you fucking idiot. Your little sister's being raped in hell." It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it took the Exorcist level of shit talking, but like did it in like the playful Deadite way.
Yes, which
and
I
actually,
love.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite Deadite style because really, I think this is it. Because in the original movies, they're playful, and it's more just kind of like the average like I'll eat your soul, I'll do this, and then in Army Darkness, it's toned down. It's not even nearly as goofy. Or it's goofy, but I'm saying it's not as threatening. And then this, it's the meanest, it's the most dirty. And I feel, again, I don't remember Rise that well, but I remember it being kind of tame. So I think this is like the peak, the pinnacle of shit talking Deadites.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's there's, and even the shit talking, because even when Natalie is like about to cut her arm off,
do it.
No, she's like, don't do it, you little bitch. Don't cut it off. Because she wants it to get to the rest of her. It's
you're right. But when she's in it, she's like, what did she say? It's not do it. It's that quick little, they keep cutting back to her. It's a bah, bah, bah. Thought it was do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Okay.
Don't cut it off.
But it's
real
fast.
Yeah, like, don't cut it off. Don't cut it off.
And she looks fucking scared. I mean, she's scared.
She does the fuck you right before she cuts into it, which like they set up the arm first. And then they come back to it all in this, and it's the same shot where they cut, where then it's like, it looks so well done. Because again, one of the main mistakes that special effects people do is they don't do a establishment of the effect beforehand. We need to see that arm behaving normally, because if it's just a normal arm and then you cut back and it's the prosthetic arm, it's like, well, we know it's a prosthetic arm now. It's like you need to have the prosthetic arm behaving in a regular instance, so that then we don't have that jump, that massive, like, because then even if it's a small thing, your brain realizes the difference. So
yeah, it's because then it becomes, this is where the effect starts, as opposed to if there's 30 seconds of the prosthetic arm masquerading as the normal arm, and she goes to cut it, then we're like, oh shit, where is the cut? Where is it's because the whole arm is fake, but they had the the buildup is what you're saying. Like the buildup's important, because we don't want this is the effects cut in this, when the cut before was the real arm.
Because even when they do it, they put it into the shot, and you expect like, now it's gonna cut to the like another, like a close up that then shows it cutting, and it's like, nope, it's all the same shot and shows it cut, and just it's incredible. And the effects team on this, mind blowing stuff.
Fantastic. What probably some of the best gore effects in my lifetime. And again, not reinventing the wheel, but I think just it looks good. It's realistic. The blood has a great color and consistency. It's just like a good modern gore effects, and it walks that perfect balance.
Trying to, because it wasn't K&B that did it. I'm trying to look up and see.
Is it Weta or something? Probably, I don't know, some New Zealand company.
I cannot see. I was expecting it to have been to have just been K&B due to their close relationship, but it was apparently not.
Well, whoever did it, it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Yeah, I can't.
And hold on, we just real quick. We went through all the Friday the 13th, and some of my favorite entries and the weirder ones were so cut down by the MPA that, I mean, it's like nothing. I saw Evil Dead 2013 in theaters, and I actually don't own the extra minute cut. I should, but it's just I think I bought it a month before that cut came out. So the cut that I saw in theaters was so fucking gory and so outrageous that sometimes I think back, like, how did Jason 7 get so neutered? But like, this was hey, this is we're good to go. I mean, can you imagine? It's just, I don't know, sometimes I think like how unfair life is. I mean, I'm glad this was what it was in the theaters. And I'm glad it's so mean and crazy. Mm-hmm. But then I just think back to like half the 80s movies that we'd watch where, you know, like a splurted butt on the neck was like too much and we had to cut that. And it's just like, well, I just saw Levy pull out her fucking arm.
Well, we can thank cable TV for that, and specifically a show called The Walking Dead, because it's really hard for the MPAA to say something is not acceptable for grown adults to see in a movie theater when they're seeing it on Sunday night on AMC. So I think there was a massive shift in 2010.
You might be correct in that. And to tie it back to K&B, that's Mr. Greg Nicotero. So looks like what you're saying is that there's a good chance that Greg Nicotero saved the universe.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Which I think we also then have discovered why they did not work on, well, to be fair, K&B had already broken up by this point. They had, Nicotero has his own thing, but obviously he would have been busy with Walking Dead around this time. So
100%.
Yeah, so it makes sense as to why he wouldn't have continued with this. But I was still surprised, especially after how much fun they seemed to all have on what was the Evil Dead 2 commentary that he was part of. My God!
I think I told you during that episode that I looked up when it was recorded, and it was, you know, early 2000s, maybe 99, whatever, like right around that time they had all the DVDs come out. And I kind of made me sad because like Nicotero's not old in the sense, but he is. And it's like Nicotero's at that point where, I mean, even during this time, he's kind of old and busy, but like now it's like, no, that guy is probably going to retire soon. And I got like sad thinking like, we're revisiting these movies and they had the energy of youth and just people having a good time with their friends on set. And then, you know, I look at like an interview now and Nicotero's like in his 70s. And it's like, oh, this he's done.
Yeah, he's winding down.
It's just, I don't know. It's sad to put in perspective because, you know, movies live forever. And I think that's the good thing is that commentary will live forever of him being youthful and having a good time with his buddies. It's just, you know, as somebody who we're not that old yet, like I always want those experiences to continue, but they don't. That's just not how it goes. You don't have that energy with your friends when you're 60. You're not making movies like this. It's, you know, you're pulling a Coppola and making weird, wine movies.
Before we continue on, do you remember who the K&B guy that dropped out was?
Isn't I know what he looks like. He's like a heftier guy with a black beard. He's on
Howard Berger. Berger. Then okay, you describing it was all because I'm like, because K&B Effects is still technically around. That's Nicotero's company, but I'm like, but I know that the three like aren't. It's not the three anymore. I knew that one of them had left. But yeah, because it looks like, because I wanted to see what Mr. Nicotero has been up to, because he's still doing, he's directing, but like he still does makeup effects work. Like that's so crazy.
But is it for more things than The Walking Dead and spinoffs? Is he doing like outside stuff?
Yeah, he did Fallout, prosthetic makeup designer for Fallout.
Great show. You recommended it.
Yeah, fucking fantastic show. But mostly he's doing. But Watchmen, that HBO show. He did the bald cap for Bryan Cranston on El Camino.
Okay, I never saw it, but all right.
It's the Breaking Bad movie.
I refused to watch it because like I thought the ending was so great, I didn't want it anymore. But if you're saying I should see it, but you know I get weird about stuff. For sometimes I'm like, this is my ending. I don't want it anymore.
So this is perfect context. You know how you like the Army of Darkness director's cut because it just adds a little more.
Yes.
Doesn't ruin. I would say that's what El Camino is. Doesn't ruin anything. It just adds a little more context and flavor to stuff.
Okay.
Fair enough.
There's
I
another.
would recommend it.
Speaking of Nicotero, be real quick, because we might have to discuss eventually. Did you ever get into the Creep Show TV show that he was like a big part of on Shudder?
Yeah, I watched the first 2 seasons, and I don't know if I should admit to this, but I actually had access to 3 and 4 like a month early, like for both of those films. But I'm not into them, so I didn't watch them.
Okay, well, I like the series. It reminds me of the stuff in the 90s. I grew up with Tales from the Crypt, kind of cheesy and fun. But there is a Evil Dead episode that Sam Raimi's a part of, where like he plays some guy with a Necronomicon, brings it to like one of those like antique shows, and it gets all fucking crazy. So there is more Evil Dead content technically out there that is in universe. If you have not seen that,
you're telling me that Sam Raimi appears on Creep Show?
Ted Raimi.
Oh, Ted Raimi.
Ted Raimi, yeah, your guy. But it's considered canon sanctioned. And
my neighbor, my neighbor, Ted Raimi.
You're your old buddy down the street.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of the episode, but I feel it was on like the last season. It's worth to see, especially because it has the same tone and vibe as Ash vs. Evil Dead. So I would definitely recommend it if you have not seen it, or if our lovely listeners have not seen it either.
Definitely have to check it out, because I went to Sam Raimi's IMDb because I thought that was what you initially said. And he's acted in other things where now I'm like, I really need to see these just to see Sam Raimi's performance in them, because he voices a giant squirrel in The Jungle Book. Like that Jon Favreau.
Okay. Yeah. I never saw it, but good for Raimi for making some money.
And he plays himself in the 2019 movie Fanboy with Fran Kranz. He's from Cabin in the Woods. The dorky guy at the end.
Yeah, the hippie guy, right? Or the
guy with the bong.
The bong. What is it? Like the bong? What is it? A thermos?
Thermos bong. Thermos. That costs like $3,000 or something for props to make, because it was like fully functioning.
That's Hollywood bullshit. Like that could have cost $20, but some fucking union guy did it.
Oh, 100%. Anytime I think about that, I think of the Devil's Rejects making of, where they go over the like pants that Tiny is wearing, the character Tiny, who he's in the movie for barely any time. His pants cost $600.
Yeah, and it's like, listen, I'm all about people getting paid, and Hollywood's like, yeah, people should make their money, but it is one of those things where I also get why people then go to fucking Canada, because it's like, well, there has to be a balance. I'm okay with people making money, but it's the whole idea of like the guy can't change the light bulb. We got to have the other department do it. Where I'm like, I get that if you're making like Avatar, because fuck them and Blade and Dry, but then I always think of like smaller productions from like, guys, really?
Yeah. The smaller productions are the ones you got to look out for. It's not who cares about the big ones. Big ones are always gonna do fucking bullshit. But what do you think of the cabin itself? I've always really liked the design of this cabin. Like I said before, it reminds me of Ash vs. Evil Dead.
No, I think it's a good representation. It's close enough to the original, and it still has the same idea of like, it's small on the outside and a mansion on the inside, and I like that. I like that they kept that, because that's something that I never really thought of until this viewing, where like when they pull up, I'm like, oh, still small, and looks like a fucking 400 square foot cabin that's giant. No, it's great, and it's dirty, and it's gross, and I love the well in the basement.
Yeah,
it feels lived in. It's a great set. It's probably it's hard to say, because the old movies are different. This is a modern movie it's going for a very specific, like grimy, gross look, but I think it looks creepy. It looks unsettling, and that's what it should be. It's doing its job. I was gonna say it's my favorite cabin, but I don't know if that's fair, because the Evil Dead 2 cabin is iconic for its own reason. So
yeah, and it's hard to compare the difference between Hollywood, Hollywood budget and something that people are just doing, like trying to make a movie with their friends. But we should bring up the fact that as bloody as this movie gets, they only use 70,000 gallons of blood of fake blood for this.
Yeah.
Which
Dude,
is,
but that's awesome that they use 70,000 gallons and not just 1 gallon with a bunch of CGI.
Yeah, very true. But it still pales in comparison to the 200 to 300 gallons that were allegedly used on the original. So
that sounds fake now that we're saying it out loud. Really?
I know.
It's like, this is bloodier than the original, though. It is.
Yeah, but I'm sure they probably didn't have as much. I don't know. I bet the cleanup was tougher, but they could reuse blood. You know what I mean? I bet they had better. Like hell. An example. When Jane Levy is in that swamp in this film, like she crashes a car. That was a real swamp, but it was heated. They heated that swamp for her.
How? I thought that was actually on a set. I thought that was a set the whole time. I was like, nope, not a set. Not a set. That is a real swamp. Because she mentions in the comments, she's like, yeah, they put some like heaters in it that like heated up the water, and it was great. Because all I could think was how much of the like local like wildlife and fauna or whatever died because you guys changed the temperature for this damn swamp. And also, it's a swamp. What the fuck's in a swamp? I would see. She's, okay, not to bring this back. At first, when you're saying she might have been bitching about the tree thing, I was upset. But it's like, no, bitch about being in a fucking swamp water. I'd be like, build a fucking water tank. Like, well, who, like, still water's dangerous. What's in this? What fucking bugs? What like disease? Oh, gross.
Yeah, she was very, very nonchalant about that. Yeah, but
I'm more upset than her.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's the one that had to deal with it. And she was even like, Live
and let live.
Yeah. I mean, I think Bruce Campbell, before filming started on this, he emailed all of the primary cast members and said, you will not have an experience like this, like before or after. This will be the hardest shoot of your life. Like, of like a get ready. He's like, his whole point was essentially like, this is going to toughen you. So you're going to have a project in the future that someone else thinks is hard. And you're going to be like, nope, not as hard as Evil Dead.
Makes me happy that he gave him like a warning shot.
Yeah.
It's like being in things that like have real blood and sticky stuff is probably, disgusting. I mean, I was in my buddy did some for college, my buddy Brad, and he like had a bunch of fake blood, and I was like stabbed, and it was just a little like Ziploc bag with blood under my shirt. And I remember it running down, and it got on like my crotch, and it got on my balls. And I remember being like, we finished, and I immediately went to the shower and stripped off my clothes. And it was like that. We're in a basement. It's dusty. I can't imagine the level that so I'm thinking like that times 1,000 times 2,000 is what these people are going through. Only like, you don't get to go and shower. You're sitting with like blood soaked balls for probably 14 hours.
I hate the feeling of stickiness. And that's all it is. You just feel sticky and gross. And
no good.
It's like, I guess before they gave Jane Levy the role, they like sat down with her and like I think it was either Bruce or Sam were like, we don't think you're ready for this. We don't think you're ready for 15-hour days with like prosthetics, blah, blah, blah. Like, are you ready? Like, can you do this? And like, yeah, she said she could. She was a trooper, and they had nothing but positive things to say. I mean, literally everything. It sounds like as tough of time filming as this was, it sounds like everyone had a great time, and that it was what you would want from this kind of experience. People enjoying each other and working hard.
So why did we never get more? Even without Fede Alvarez, like people like Jane Levy, people kind of consider Maya. For some reason, I always mix up with Mia, but Maya's, character, okay, I understand like other directors are coming and doing it, but why not bring her character back? It just seems weird that they're always starting over. And I mean, at this point, spend 12 years? So she's not coming back. That's gone.
Yeah, she's done. I think she's a mom now. She probably doesn't have any interest. It's like, you guys could have taken advantage of this when she was in her 20s and up and coming actor.
Again, successful, It got good reviews. Like, it's not one of those things where I'm like, oh, it found a cult audience years later and we now love it. It's like, no, this was popular at the time. I remember. So it's just strange that, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, we actually somehow made another cool character in this franchise, then didn't do anything with him. It's just,
I mean,
it kind of sucks.
You say that, but I think it's Ash versus Evil Dead. That's why we didn't get it. Like their attention focused, like shifted to that, which then that was canceled like prematurely. Which then I do remember there was like, especially around the Halloween Legacy sequel 2018 coming out. Remember there being like the talks of like, oh, maybe we can get the Ash and Maya team up finally. But then obviously Bruce, I think that was actually when Bruce Campbell put a stop. We're just like, I can't do any, I'm physically incapable of playing Ash any longer. I can voice him and that's it.
Which would be fine, like, but let's put him in a cartoon. I just think we should bring the character back in some way. Yeah. No, I want to bring up the fact that, and I love Sam Raimi, but I swear to God, every time, like, he's the man that always, like, brings in interesting ideas because he knows it's not going to happen, and he does them at, like, the worst times. Way before the TV show, I remember how many times it's like, nope, Army of Darkness 2, Evil Dead 4 is happening. Yeah. We're doing it. And he teased like an asshole. And after that show got canceled, fucking Sam Raimi, and I believe there's an article in Joe Blow, came out. It's like, oh, actually, I had a great idea for a new movie where we have two timelines, the Army of Darkness timeline and then the future timeline. It's like, and I was ready to do it, but Bruce wouldn't come back. I'm like, fuck you. No, you weren't. Don't say that. Don't give me hope. Like, come on, man. It's like, I don't know. And they did this for a lot. And I think even Kelly and Pablo or Kelly, what's your fucking real name?
Dana De Lorenzo.
Dana De Lorenzo was like, we're going to get Bruce back. He's not done. He's not retired. He's come back for more. And it's just like, don't do that. And it obviously never happened. So, regardless, I just feel like this is the series where we always talk about all these cool things going to happen and nothing ever does. In fact, the only thing that ever happened was Evil Dead Rise. So, yay.
And Evil Dead Burn. We don't know. It could be good.
I'm not going to shit on Evil Dead Burn yet, honestly, because it's like Evil Dead Rise was the big disappointment. So now I feel like I'm tempered in my expectations. Whereas up until Evil Dead Rise, I mean, we just kept getting fucking bangers. I mean, it was like I'd put it on red, baby comes back to red. I was just fucking doubling my money.
But not to get you excited for it, though, but I will say that the director, Sebastian Vanasek, his film Infested very much has like Evil Dead 2013 cinematography, like 100%.
I will always be cautiously optimistic, but, after Rise, man, I can't be just in love. I got to be a little more like, well, let's see.
Oh yeah, I was cautiously optimistic with Rise. I didn't think anything about Rise looked good from the first like poster.
I know we always thought about that, but the thing is like up until then they just never failed. So I was like, well, they can't. Because the trailer was fine. They can't. They can't. I told you we had the conversation. Like the trailers, and look at them. I'm like, it looks fine. I go, but don't worry. Like their track record's too good. We're in good hands. I was like, don't worry, buddy. They got this. And then you and me did that review, I think like the day of, after we both saw it. I think we came home and recorded. I don't know if it's still online, where it's just us being like, oh, man.
I feel like we were kinder to it than we probably will be in our podcast.
But do you remember like the tone though? It was more of like a kind of a shock of but a sadness. Like I remember being like, well, no, it wasn't terrible, but like this didn't work, and this like I remember the tone being
feel
like
very
sad.
Evil Dead, and
now I'm hardened, just angry. But before I was more like, oh, come on,
Yeah, I mean we'll get into that next week when we get into Evil Dead Rise.
Yes.
We're both really looking forward to that one.
But you want to talk about? Okay, sorry.
No, go.
One of the best scenes in the movie, and I think in terms of cinematography and creepiness. When he puts her in the dress and buries her, and there's like that when she's talking to him in that fucking bag, and it's like blue and it's a little bit of the fire lighting. I can't stress out. If you want to know what I think is creepy cinematography and like what is horror, my goal is to make something that looks like that. This is such a cool scene. It's fucking. We're going old school Evil Dead, even basically Evil Dead 2 in a way. Or even Army of Darkness, I guess. Really, this is in every one. And I love Fede's thing where she talks about like her mom
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, like he's in hell and this. It's just it's so fucking beautiful, dude. I don't know. I really really dig the idea of like having to kill his sister, and just the way that the bag looks is something else.
I love rules like that, and like a rebirth. I think a rebirth for a possession is really interesting because it's like, oh yeah, I do like that concept of someone being able to essentially be able to get someone back, but it's like, well, you got to bury them alive to be able to do that. So
remember, it's 3 options, and this is like the best because it's like fire, burial, and there's one other, I can't think of the other one, but like the first 2 are like, ooh, there's no comeback. This is like the best chance he has, and he does and again, I wish it was better, or at least more Sam Raimi, but they do the montage of him building the defibrillator, and I was like, okay, that's a fun little thing,
Yeah, they do that, and like, I mean, props to Jane Levy. They legit buried her to get the shot. So that's tough. I would not want to have dirt poured on my face, but she does it and does it well. Like, because like, and it's the same thing too when she's like inhaling the bag. Yeah, that's just her doing it. I saw the clip of right after, because the whole thing is as soon as Fede calls cut, she is pulling herself out. Someone else grabs the bag, pulls it off her, and she's just like hunched over, like,
no, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So it's like, I love when actors are willing to put themselves in a place like that, because it shows how far they're willing to go for their craft.
It's a beautiful looking shot, and it is super effective. So, I mean, it's one of those, yeah, like she's going for it, and that's why it sticks out in the movie. Yeah. That's why we're talking about her. It's because, yeah, she didn't like half-ass it. Bruce Campbell gave her the talk. She said she was down, and she was. Yep.
She knew. And I think too, that props to them, because I think that's probably, it helps. You don't have an actor that then is just like, what the fuck? Why? I can't do this. Where it's like, nope, I knew what I was getting into. And also, even if she does feel those things, she then has that thought in her mind where she's like, they warned me what I was getting into.
I can't bitch. This is par for the course.
Yeah, which is that's smart producing on their part. And that's the Bruce talks about how they would get dailies and stuff, and they'd make like Sam would make a suggestion of like, oh, have this be longer. They said that when they got the edit, Fede gave them a rough edit, and that rough edit told them that Fede knows 100% what he's doing, and they don't need to touch him. So he had 100% creative, like he had final cut on.
That's awesome.
On the film, and it's all first time director, his first feature length film, and he's taking on a beloved franchise. And Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, and Robert Tapert were able to put their egos aside enough to be like, "Yep, you did it. Whatever you want in this, we'll listen to you. We trust you."
They gave us one of the, if not the best, I mean, of course that's subjective, remakes ever. I mean, it's at least, let's say this, it is one of the best horror remakes of all time. Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair, right?
Yeah, I think I only put The Thing above it, which even The Thing, the argument can be made. It's a separate adaptation, but I think that can be said for, if we open that can of worms, I think then many other things could be, like Carrie. The Chloe Grace Moretz Carrie could be considered like that's just another adaptation. It's like, no, it's a remake.
The only fight I would give you is The Thing. I love The Thing. It's one of the best movies ever made. But the thing is sorry, I said The Thing is, I'm talking about The Thing. I should not do that. Is that the original movie means nothing to me. So it's like, whereas like The Evil Dead is super important. So like the fact that I just felt like this had a higher hill to climb. So I want to put it higher, but I don't want to also think that I don't put it in the same category, because I feel that's not fair to The Thing either. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying, like, let's put this in terms of like classic horror movie and remake. This might be the best, because Friday the 13th is in there. Nightmare on Elm Street, not good or bad. I'm just saying remakes.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw, Hills Have Eyes, though I never liked the Hills Have Eyes, but people do. So in terms of, I think, like remaking a classic, this this should have failed in every way. The fact that we love it as much as we do, I really think is a testament to Fede. And which is funny is, I'll say this online. I don't think I like him. I don't like Don't Breathe. I don't like Don't Breathe 2. Rhymeless is fine, I guess. What else has he done though? I mean, I feel like this is still his best movie.
Did you see the girl who played with, played with the spider's nest? Is that what it was?
After David Fincher walked away, I got kind of grumpy. So I'm assuming it's a sequel to that.
It's not a sequel. So it's the fourth book. They like skipped 2 books because the fourth book is like, that way they could like do kind of a
reboot.
Yeah, a reboot with it. And like the film itself, the script, like I would say that has more script issues, but it's gorgeous, like gorgeous. So, and I never saw Don't Breathe 2, but Romulus,
maybe you're right.
Romulus has won me over more with the more I've watched it and the more I've sat with it.
Okay, but hold on, I want, maybe you're right. Maybe it's his scripts because I can't really talk shit about any of those movies' looks. So maybe that is something I got to kind of step back, and maybe he's one of those guys like Shyamalan where I'm like, I actually like your style of moving the camera, but I just wish you got another script guy. Maybe he's like that to me. And I feel bad because like, I know Shyamalan's a lot worse.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people online tell me how good Trap is and how Trap's a comedy. I'm like, Trap's not a comedy. Stop fucking trying to like reach.
You might not like this Rodo Sayagas. That's his writing partner.
Oh, is that? Okay, then sorry.
It's the same guy. Sorry,
dude. Not loving you. I mean, I love him here.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever he does here, it works. But yeah, I would say, but also, you love that stupid Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
What, the 03?
No, the Netflix one.
Oh, yeah, but I like it in like a Madam Web way, though. Where it's like so stupid and fun.
But the story was from them.
Okay, well, so really, he just needs to start making such bad schlock that it can have fun.
Stuff, yeah. But also, I wouldn't say Fede Alvarez is a schlocky direct. Like his style wouldn't work for schlock. His is serious.
But if he went like super crazy, I don't. Well, let's see.
Yeah,
I feel bad. Okay, you called me out online here, but yes, I did like that stupid movie.
Yeah,
nobody else did.
One thing I was thinking of in this, because I was like at a certain point in this movie, I'm like, fuck, despite seeing this movie so many times, I forget how David died. So then watching it over, and it's like David sacrifices himself in the cabin. He shoots the gas tank that then blows up. But again, because it's such a brief moment, we don't actually see him die. It's like it just engulfs the cabin. So then I think it just doesn't connect with me in the same way that all the other deaths do, because obviously all the other deaths in this movie are so heightened and so over the top and intense.
They don't show his, but that's fine, because you're right though. It's sacrificial, so it means something. So it's not exploitative. And also I like the idea that he goes to burn the cabin down earlier, and it's that soaking of the cabin that helps ignite when he shoots the gas tank and killing my friend Eric. Who eventually becomes the Deadite. I
was going to say, your friend Eric, who is in like full zombie mode.
I know. He's just the guy that gets it all. The guy that just gets the brunt of everything. Poor Eric, man. All he did was just read from a book that said don't. It was wrapped in barbed wire.
But from that, essentially from that cabin, the cabin explosion on, this is like a cinematographer's wet dream. It is just, there's so many absolutely gorgeous shots in this film. They're like just Mia outside the cat, whether it's the shot from behind with the cabin on fire in front of her, or the side shot, or then when the camera like tilts down, it has the abomination reach up and grab her arm. There, it's just, and the rain, the blood rain.
The blood rain, dude. This is so cool. This is the definition of cool to me. I remember my thoughts in the theater, because this is, and we talked about this. I love when movies just kind of get fucking crazier.
Mm-hmm, same.
And the movie basically could have ended after the shotgun and the thing blowing up like that. If you end there, I would have been like 4-star movie.
Yeah. It almost feels
it gets fucking what? Yeah.
It almost feels like on the pull out shot, where it
It's
almost
gonna
seems
fade
like
away.
a fade away,
Yes.
or cut to black, or cut to morning, cut to something. Yeah, I agree.
But then it becomes a blood storm against this fucking demon. She's in the wall, it's stabbing through, cutting her arm and her leg. It's stressful. It's fucking cool. And the shot that, I mean, I think I consider it iconic. I think you do too. I'm jumping around a little, but like after she rips her arm off and she stabs the fucking chainsaw into the demon, and it's just this nice wide where Mia's on the left, the demon's on the fucking ground, and it's just this fountain of blood. It's so fucking beautiful. It is so gorgeous. It makes me proud to love cinema. You know what cinema is? It's that shot. You know, like it should be next to The Godfather in terms of like beautiful, you know, fucking Corleone at the very end, you know, Michael in the chair in Godfather 2. This should be next to it. I mean, I'm talking, it is everything I've ever wanted. It is outrageous. It is intense. It actually ups the ante. I mean, dude, fucking come on. Yeah. I may feel bad. I'm sort of blowing it, but you know, let me look a little more. It's amazing. Yeah. They somehow find room to make it more intense, where at this point we should have plateaued. I should have been like, oh, okay. But no, I'm somehow like tensing in my chair in the theater when this fucking abomination, or what do you call abomination demon?
Abomination Mia.
Yeah. Is chasing her. Dude, fantastic. Going through the hole where the dog was and everything. Yeah, great. Good setup too. A little payoff.
Yeah, I'm sure you and I have both been going back and forth between calling her Mia and Maya.
I think it's Maya, right?
Maya.
Is it Mia?
Yeah. Mia.
I switch it because Mia. Because in my head, Mia makes sense. But you know, I also like, I'm so bad with character names nowadays that like in the movie they're calling her Maya, part of me would be like, I would call her Mia. So I'm probably correcting the movie, but whatever. Yeah, Jane Levy. Good old Jane Levy.
I know, that's probably my issue, is I always call her Jane Levy. I want to ask you too, because honestly, I don't think we brought this up when we talked about the original, and I think it's often a point of discussion, is the magnifying glass charm.
It's because they bring back how stupid it looks in the original.
How stupid it is in the original, and like how silly, because then they do bring it back in the second one, and it's like just as stupid. But I think they fix it in this one. It's like they put it's like a wood heart around it. It looks like more of a charm. It looks like something someone would
braided.
Have.
So kind of it fits the vibe of the girl. Like I could see her wearing that. You know, it has that sort of like, I don't know, not necessarily hippie, but a little more like down to earthy girl. I don't know what I'm looking for. Yeah, no, I thought that was kind of cute. Or they brought the necklace back. They bring, I mean, this does what a remake should, where it's like it has elements and I feel like it's respected, but it also doesn't feel forced. Like the necklace is something that Yumi has made fun of, and I didn't think to bring up because it just felt kind of organic here. And again, I'm making fun of it in the original, but the idea in the original is fine. It's a guy giving his girlfriend a gift. Yeah. It's sweet, and I'm all about it. But like, it's very organic here, and I think that's impressive because it's something that should come off stupid.
Yeah, and there's I keep playing the scene, and it's like there's more and more. I can't call out every little shot because it's so good though. But there's this great shot, this overhead shot that follows down, like that. It's essentially following a blood drop down to it hits off the little charm thing.
Yeah.
It's wonderful cinematography, just looks so good. And I love when shit goes crazy in the end. And as soon as it's like, what the fuck, there's a weird evil Mia coming out. It's like, yes, I'm so on board for this, because we're Evil Dead fans, and evil doppelgangers are an Evil Dead staple.
Dude, the fact that we have essentially a battle in a bloodstorm, and she loses her arm. Listen, you remember that SNL skit where Farley would interview people and he would just be like, "Hey, remember when that happened? That was real cool." This whole fucking this whole talk we're having, I feel like I'm Farley right now, where I'm like, remember when she had the chainsaw? That was cool, man. But it's cool. This is the most beautiful looking part of the movie, because you're right. Even when there's no shot where her hand's under the car, and it's the way it looks, the way it's framed, it's beautiful. I mean, the fire is basically backlighting everything, so it's this warm glow, highlighting the red.
They remove her hand, and it's not the same. It's not like a parallel of Ash having his hand removed, to the point where when it happens, I don't even view it as like, oh yeah, now they're doing the Ash thing. Oh, is she gonna go, attach her arm to a chainsaw? That doesn't even come up in my head, because this isn't treated like a legacy sequel. This is treated like remake, requel, like this is
using elements that but you're right. She puts her stump in, which is fine, makes sense in the world. But she's like, feast on this motherfucker. She has a great little Ash line too. I mean, it's like, it's her own. It's not a repeat. It's not come get some. It's not, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like another one, like Yoshi bitch. Yeah. They could have easily, and really, if it was made anytime after this, it would have been a line. It would have been the line from fucking Evil Dead 2. But, feast on this motherfucker, or whatever she says.
It's the Abomination says, I will feast on your soul. She's like, feast on this motherfucker.
Yeah, and she sticks it into the face. I love it.
Then she does it's like the dive, but then she also does the go back to hell, bitch. Like, it's the so camera,
I love it. I love it.
It's the best. I think it's my favorite ending of all of the films.
It's hard for me because I love the Army Darkness, but this is not the same though. This is the best. I mean, this is like horror. This is straight up, like it's revenge. It's almost revenge. Like, Mia was put through all this shit. All of her friends are dead. So like, it's cathartic. Watch her cut this bitch in two, and then the chick like melts into the ground. I mean, dude, it's this is a high that I took for granted, because I just thought we get more of this, and I'm cautious now that we might not. This might have just been a special moment.
But do you feel like, because I kind of feel like I am more appreciative of things now because of having things like Evil Dead not living up after, this came out 11 years ago. We thought that we'd be able to get a bunch more of these. That didn't end up happening. Friday the 13th, 2009. It's like, had a blast in theaters, where it's like, I'm going to have so many more great times like this. We're going on 16 years since that. So there's these things that then it makes me appreciate. It's like, even when we were watching Alien Romulus, there were moments where I was just like, oh my God, yes, this like looks so alien. Because after seeing Alien Covenant, like, I was really annoyed at it's like, oh yeah, there's alien elements of it, but it's like, no, it's like you're just putting it in a different, you're putting the same alien set dressing on something that's not alien. So it bugged the shit out of me. So it's like having these times where we're then able to see of like, we don't know. So, and to be fair, that could happen with Alien Romulus. We could be thinking like, oh yeah, they're going to do a sequel with Rain and Andy, and it's so set up for that. And then 10 years from now, we'll be going, yeah, I guess that Alien Earth TV show really like delayed or really messed with plans for our Alien Romulus sequel. It's like, you never know.
No, you don't. And you know what? I think you really hit it on the head, which is, and I know this, I shouldn't give a shit about more. I should, no, this is the fact that we got something this good in Evil Dead in 2013 is amazing. This should have failed. So the fact that we have it, we have a new movie, a new remake done by a different writer and director, and it still, to me, is up there with the best of the series. Like, no, I do try to appreciate stuff like this. And honestly, I say that I want more, but you know me, I don't want more, because the chances of it being good are just, you bring back the same writer director, same actor, same producers, doesn't mean shit to me. So I think it's awesome that the remake is this good. And I think it's cool because this is Evil Dead 1 if it was made now. And I love it, dude. I love it. This is my kind of horror movie.
I didn't even realize until you said that. It's like, yeah, your mindset with this film is very different from other things, because usually you do take that like, no, we have it. We don't need more. So it's interesting that with this, though, you're like, no, I want more.
Because up to this point, we had Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and this. I can't stress the fucking run of that. I mean, I was foolish. I mean, I was young in 2013. You know, I was all like, oh, we're just going to have great times forever. We're never going to age, and our friend's going to live, and my fucking pet's going to fucking be 60. It's like, nah, dude, I was an idiot. Now I'll never be this happy. This was the perfect ending, and I should have taken it that way, which is you somehow made a great remake of a movie I love and didn't include Bruce Campbell or Sam Raimi, and I love it equally. I put it up there as just a different version. That's so incredibly tough, especially for somebody like me, and I'm assuming you, where this series is so important to like my horror youth and sort of growing up. I mean, this was like this series, the mean, funny, goofy, bloody series. So it's like, oh, to add another element, another version, and have me love it is just, it's awesome. So yeah, I guess I should just appreciate it more. And you know what? We'll see how Burn does, but in the end, we're not topping this in terms of serious Evil Dead movies. I think we should accept that. Unless you want to fight me on it. I think this is peak serious Evil Dead.
No, I smirked. I smirked because I immediately just thought about all the memes that are going to end up coming out with Evil Dead Burn Notice. Oh my God. It never even occurred to me. Oh, I wish I was better at Photoshop so I could make some myself.
Do you think Burn is going to stick, or do you think it's one of those like, I don't know, it just seems like such a lame title.
I don't think it's getting enough backlash. I think only we don't like it. I think it would need like a bigger, I don't know.
Maybe Evil Dead Rise. I like that title.
Maybe we need to do our part. Maybe we need to start trashing the title in a public space.
Yeah, it can't just be like a random fucking adjective or something on the end. It can't, we gotta do more. We gotta do more.
Right, evil. What are some other ones we could? Evil Dead Grow. Evil Dead Slash.
Well, let's think of good names. What's like?
I'm thinking of in line with everything else. I don't think Rise is good. I don't think Burn is good. We'll get into it next episode, but I hate those credit sequence of Evil Dead Rise.
Oh, I kind of like the credit sequence. That's probably the only thing I liked.
No, we needed a cut to credits. Boom, smash cut.
That's fair. Well, it's also a lame opening, so I guess we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to it. All right, what would you rate Evil Dead 2013?
What if I was like 2 stars? No,
that's how you go fuck yourself.
It's a 4-star movie. I wouldn't say I couldn't go any lower. I mean, you?
No, this is a 4-star movie. I mean, genuinely, it's going to be tough to not put this at number 1 for me when we do our ranking, because it was such an experience for me. I'm really trying to, especially for when we do the ranking, I'm trying to not just put my overall thoughts on oh, I've always felt this. I'm trying to put how am I feeling right now? My most recent viewing, how did this go? So I'm trying to think of it in that mindset. So it's like this, my 2013, but my 2013 viewing was it put me in such a great mood. Like I was having the time of my life.
Yeah, I know. It's a fantastic movie. 4 stars. 4 stars.
Yeah. Easy 4 stars.
I think people agree. I think a lot of people agree. I think this is one of the few remakes, if I'm correct, where the consensus was good goddamn job.
Yep. I don't think we've seen a remake be as widely accepted, both from the original fans as well as new ones, as this, because it was able to essentially give us a new film that still worked well with the old, worked in line with the old series while still having a modern twist to it, which that's the key to bringing in new audience members. You don't need to appeal to the people who love the 80s aesthetic and style of that, because guess what? You still have that the other films. So it's like you have to embrace modern and embrace the things that modern audiences like, and just kind of put that flavor into the mold of Evil Dead, which Yeah, I think Evil Dead 2013 did it wonderfully. And it's always weird because like I tend to reference this as just Evil Dead and then the Evil Dead for the original. So like when we mention of like, oh yeah, I don't ever say the. It's like, well, I actually do say the for the first one because specifically since this one is called Evil Dead, it's my easiest way to differentiate between the two without calling it Remake or 2013.
Oh, well, I guess you're doing authentic. I just use 2013 because the Evil Dead just sounds weird. But Elliot, look at you being authentic and correct in terminology.
Yeah, or just lazy in that I then have to say a little less syllables.
Yeah, but people will be confused. You'll have to actually talk more because you're going to confuse everybody, and then you have to do a lot of backlogging, and then I have to say,
to be fair, that's the only reason I even had to explain myself right now because I didn't want listeners to be like, wait, well, did you mean the first Evil Dead? Yeah.
All those less syllables didn't really work out for you, huh?
Yeah, I guess not. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. We had a blast recording it, and you can make sure to find other episodes like this on any podcasting platform. We have a bunch on Spotify. You can leave comments there. We have an Instagram that is fairly active. And then you can check out our Patreon where we have a monthly roundup where we go over some different like modern films that we've seen. Not always modern. Sometimes we just go over stuff that we watched for the first time that month. And then we do a monthly commentary episode, which for our Evil Dead month, we covered Army of Darkness. So we're not entirely sure what our next one will be. So if you guys want to hear something specific, make sure to let us know by either commenting on our Spotify, commenting on Patreon, or emailing us at needlesslynostalgic@gmail.com. But yeah, make sure to follow us on any of those platforms. And we thank you so much. We will see you in the next one when we cover Evil Dead Rise. Goodbye.